Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Canto 4, Chapter 19, Text 24 and 5. Evam indre harantyashvam vaina yajna jigamshaya tat grihita vristeshu pakandeshu matirindrinam dharma ityupadharmeshu nagna rakta patadishu prayena sajjate bhrantya peshaleshu cha vakmishu. Translation. In this way, King Indra, in order to steal the horse from King Prithu's sacrifice, adopted several orders of sannyasa. Some sannyasis go naked, and sometimes they wear red garments and pass under the name of kapalika. These are simply symbolic representations of their sinful activities. These so-called sannyasis are very much appreciated by sinful men because they are all godless atheists and very expert in putting forward arguments and reasons to support their case. We must know, however, that they are only passing as ardent adherents of religion and are not so in fact. Unfortunately, bewildered persons accept them as religious, and being attracted to them, they spoil their life. Purport. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, men in this age of Kali are short-lived, devoid of spiritual knowledge, and susceptible to accept false religious systems due to their unfortunate condition. Thus, they always remain mentally disturbed. The Vedic Shastras practically prohibit the adoption of sannyasa in the age of Kali because less intelligent men may accept the sannyasa order for cheating purposes. Actually, the only religion is the religion of surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We must serve the Lord in Krishna consciousness. All other systems of sannyasa and religion are actually not bona fide. In this age, they are simply passing for religious systems. This is most regrettable. So, continuing from yesterday's, this verse talks more about the kapata sannyasi, sannyasis who show renunciation, but who are not mentally renounced. Sometimes even physically not renounced. So this has started from the demigods, from Indra himself. So many times when we join Krishna consciousness and we see gods whom we worshipped, Indra, Kali, these are all demigods. Right? To begin with, we'll be a little doubting. I've been worshipping these gods for so many years. Aren't they only demigods? Because we have been told you can worship anybody, everything is one. Right? So it doesn't matter whom you worship. Right? So people say, okay, worship a piece of stone also. So this philosophy of everything is one, anything chalega, in the name of spiritualism, is there in tendency of human beings, and which is originating from demigods. So, demigods are also superior human beings. They also have a pinch of egoism. They also are covered by the subtle and the gross material energy, may not be as thick as we human beings. Even in human beings, a person who is far, far away from spiritualism, a total atheist, even not clean materially, bad habits, bad character, his gross and subtle energy is very thick. Just like Gita talks, and it could be covered by womb. It could be covered like a mirror covered with dust, or it could be a fire covered with smoke. But covering is there. So demigods are all people who are like fire, but covered with smoke. In the sense, the awakening is very, very high level in them because of the piety, because of the austerities, because of the tapasyas they have done. But covering is there. The smoke is there. Human beings are like sometimes spiritualists or practicing spiritualists are like people like a mirror which is covered with the dust. Easy to remove. Right? You can fan a fire and stop the smoke. It is easy to stop the smoke. And in the case of a mirror, you can just clean the mirror and the dust is gone and you can see clearly. But in case of covered by the womb, very difficult to come out of that. So the covering is there in all living entities in the material world, Baddha Jiva. That is why it's called Baddha. You are totally tied, locked up with the material energy, gross and subtle, to the varying degrees. But everybody is. So these demigods are also. So we have been worshipping these demigods, and they are also covered. So we see here, Indra is covered. Devendra, he is the lord of all the demigods. So he is covered. So everybody, starting from an insect to Brahma, are covered in this material world. If you are not covered, then you don't have to be in the material world. You will be in the spiritual world, in your constitutional original position. So this covering is what differentiates between the liberated soul and the Baddha Jiva. And Krishna, the Supreme Lord, He is the Lord for both. So covering is there in this material world. So it's not surprising. Early days it's very surprising. How can Indra do these things? How can Shiva do this? How can Brahma do this? How can all these people do? But now we understand. Right? Or we are understanding that these demigods are also covered. Nobody is in this material world who can remove this covering easily, unless and until he follows the Vedic process of Krishna consciousness or some process of transcendental life. So these sannyasis, varieties of sannyasas are coming, sannyasis are coming here. Naked sannyasis, red dress sannyasis, white dress sannyasis, pant and suit sannyasis are also there in Kali-yuga. So all kinds of dresses are there. Hairless sannyasi, hair sannyasi, curly hair sannyasi. So all kinds are there. So according to the whims and fancies, you become a sannyasi. That is why in Kali-yuga sannyasa is banned. With so many other regulations, sannyasa is banned in Kali-yuga because people have this cheating propensity to a very high degree. In Satya-yuga, the cheating propensities are not there. As the yuga degrades from fresh to contaminated, from Satya-yuga to Kali-yuga, these propensities increase in human beings. Hence, Shastras say, don't do this, don't do that. Many things which was considered normal in Vedic times, sometimes are not considered normal nowadays. Sometimes the government also makes rules. Many rules they make. When they see certain things are not handled properly, some things are misused and becoming a disturbance in the society, they will also stop. They stop child marriage, they stop many things, which are all very, very common in Vedic times. So according to Desha Kala Patra, rules and regulations change. So the Shastras say in Kali-yuga, better don't take sannyas. So what is the position of a sannyasi? In fact, in Gita, Krishna says sannyasi, sannyasa word comes very, very often, right? So many places Krishna mentions about sannyasa. So many definitions So many ways Krishna has defined sannyasi. Anybody wants to remember any verse, Bhaktas, where Krishna talks about sannyasa? Yeah. What is the meaning? Okay. Anybody else? Anything more? Which chapter is that? Okay. Meaning? Yes. So many ways Krishna has explained sannyasa. Anybody else? Anything? Any other definition or explanation? Meaning? We don't know Sanskrit. There are some common ones. I'm looking for some common ones. Brahma bhuta prasannatma, na shoshati, na kanshati, samasarveshu. Sannyasi Brahma bhuta, prasannatma, always pleasant, always satisfied. Or here I just opened one here in the 6th chapter. Jitatmana prasantasya. Remember that? Next word? Paramatma samahita. A sannyasi is a person who has reached the stage of Paramatma realization. Paramatma samahitaha. Brahma bhuta. So when you are Brahma bhuta, you have cleared all the material gross and subtle coverings and you have touched Paramatma. You have touched Brahman or you have touched Paramatma. He is sannyasi. Right? So very clear definitions Krishna has given. Then, Sitoshna Sukha Dukkeshu Sama Mana Apamanayo. He has reached the state of Brahman. He is always continuously in touch with Parabrahman, so much so that he doesn't bother or he doesn't even notice Sita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, Mana, Apamana. That is the state of Brahman, sannyasi. He doesn't bother for self-respect. Or you give respect, you don't give respect. Right? Again, further Krishna explains in the same chapter. Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. He is Triptatma. He is fully satisfied. How? He is satisfied, not simply satisfied. Even mad people are satisfied. You give a small chocolate to a child, satisfied. Not that kind of satisfaction, temporary satisfaction. That kind of satisfaction which has risen out of jnana and vijnana. Satric knowledge and applied knowledge. Udbhava, it is all come within the heart. So it's not a manufactured position, sannyasa. Oh, you garland somebody, he is a sannyasi. He doesn't become sannyasi. He becomes sannyasi when he is awakened in himself. Jnana, through jnana and through vijnana, Paramatma. And is self-satisfied, Triptatma. Kutastha, Vijitendriya. He is won over his senses. That is sannyasi. Yukta ityuchyate yogi samaloshrasma kanchana. So much so that he doesn't bother whether gold or sand or clay. Everything is same for him. This is the state of sannyasi. Again, Krishna says, Suhran mitra ariudasina madhyastha dvesha bandhushu. Whether you are a relative, not relative, known person, unknown person, own person, family person, outside family, same country, outside planet, doesn't matter, all same. Samadrishti. This is the position of sannyasi. And how does they become this stage? That also Krishna says in the previous verse. How do you do this? How do you come to this position? That is also Krishna saying here. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva hi atmano bandhur atmaiva rupuratmanaha. So many atmas are here in this verse. Which atma is spirit? Which atma is body? Which atma is mind? He who has used his mind and saved his own soul from degradation and who is always elevated. And for such a person, that mind which has helped him to upgrade, not degrade. So mind is one who's helping us to upgrade and degrade. How do you make the mind upgrade? With the mind. There is no mechanical equipment, pull up, or LSD. But it pulls you down further. Here only a mind, you need a mind which is pulling you up, not pulling us down. Uddharet atmanatmanam. That mind which is using its powers and lifting the soul from material position to higher and higher position. And this is what's supposed to happen every day. Every day we have prasadam. Every day we are supposed to upgrade. Software has to be upgraded. The material software which you are running today has to be upgraded slowly and make it spiritual software. Then the software will work in Krishna consciousness. So this is how a sannyasi has upgraded. So he has not become sannyasi by vesha or by designation. No. Very common in North India. You give some money and you are made Mantala, Adipati, this Pati, that Pati, all kind of Patis. But he is not a Pati, he is always a subservient. That is not a sannyasi. The more color is, you dip your dress, I'm a great brahmachari, more color I want. Darker and darker and darker and darker. The more brahmachari you are, the color will be darker. The less brahmachari you are, the color is... Doesn't work like that. Has the mind's color gone or not? So, the dress color can increase if the mind's color has come down. In the sense, the mind has become more and more transparent. The mind has become more and more pure. And then you are a sannyasi. So instead of purifying, making the mind transparent and colorless, you increase the color of your dress. Doesn't become sannyasi. So Prabhupada says here, in the translation itself, Bhagavatam says here, these are all kapata sannyasis in different names, kapalikas. There are so many kinds of, we are not exposed to all these kinds of sannyasis. If one goes around India looking for these kinds of sannyasis, you will find many, many varieties. And all of them have a very great explanation. All of them are 100% convinced how they are the real sannyasi. Well, you may say that, we also say that. But we are not talking about ourselves. We are talking about Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is only the God. But others are saying, what I follow, this sannyasa is the... So there are many transcendentalists who are beyond the body also, who may be impersonalist. They follow some sannyasa. But mostly, publicity sannyasis are the maximum in Kali-yuga. Hence, in Kali-yuga, sannyasa is stopped. But then Prabhupada has given sannyasa. Bhaktivedanta Saraswati all the way went to South India, met the jeers in Sri Parambattur, understood, went back, took sannyas. He made devotees, he made disciples, he made them sannyas. Prabhupada became sannyasi. Prabhupada went to the West, preached all mlechas, purified them, made them sannyas. And sannyas is not allowed in Kali-yuga. So the sannyasis in Gaudiya Math, or Gaudiya Parampara rather, ISKCON is also part of that. We are also part of that. So this sannyasa, what we take is for facilitating preaching. So not exactly the sannyasi what is mentioned here. Pradhandi sannyasi. Yes, we follow this Vesha. We follow the rules of sannyasa. It's an opportunity given to some people who can preach, who can attract more and more people to Krishna consciousness by their example. If you want to show as an example, then you're free from so many other responsibilities. That is the purpose of this sannyasa, karma sannyasi, for a purpose of preaching, for the purpose of taking the advantage of the position for benefiting preaching. But then he has to follow. You cannot say, oh, Prabhupada made only sannyasi for preaching, so I don't have to follow all the rules of sannyasa. No. Once you are a Vesha of sannyasa, then you should follow the rules of sannyasa. Just like you are a rule, you are a dress of brahmachari, you are a dress of grihastha, you have to follow those things. So the position of sannyasa, as Bhagavatam says, is a very, very high position that cannot be imitated or reduced by our whims and fancies. But Prabhupada says everybody is a sannyasi. What does sannyasa means? Giving up. When you give up the material desires, self-desire, you transcend all the dualities. He is a sannyasi. So these positions are there in the Vedic times. So here we see Indra misusing that for the purpose of stealing. So all the sannyasis who do this are cheating oneself and cheating others. And the poor people get attracted. Now we may say, oh, people are getting attracted and getting misled. But we should know, if our propensity is to get cheated, we will get cheated. If our propensity is to seek the truth, then truth is available. This is how this world functions. So people are not really poor. They want to be cheated. They want some show bottle because nobody wants to give up. Everybody is coming to spiritualism. Modern days, so many platforms you see, so many varieties of spiritualism is coming. Young boys, young people, old people, everybody is attracted to spiritualism. For what? That is the question. Are you come to spiritualism for removing all the gross and subtle coverings you have and see your soul naked, removing all upadhis, and raise your hands and say, I am surrendered now? Or, very good enjoyment. Go there for kirtan, very good enjoyment. Very nice kirtan, good enjoyment. Or very nice katha, good enjoyment. Very nice book, good enjoyment. Or you went for enjoying. You didn't go for removing your upadhis. So going to spiritualism is one thing, but what makes you to go there? Why you go to spiritualism? So that is important. So spiritualism in this modern world is becoming one kind of, so many clubs are there, a spiritualism club also. Better than going to other places, of course, no doubt. But for a serious seeker, for a student of Bhagavata, for a student who has given up everything and dedicating his life to know the truth, we sometimes get misled by the demands of our mind. And most of the time, the demands are for self-glorification. So we many times succumb to these demands of the mind for self-glorification, puja, pratishtha, labha, which is very, 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 very deep in the heart, very difficult to sometimes notice. Even if it is noticed, no, you are not correct, Prabhu. I have no false ego. So, Maya, Mahabharata, Maya tells, I hunt everybody. I hunt even the spiritualist. I hunt the yogi also. Through his yoga, I make him fall down. Through his process of spiritualism, I make him fall down. I am so powerful. We may want to be a great transcendentalist, very learned person, Through the learning, Maya attacks us. I want to be a great brahmachara. Through your brahmachara, Maya attacks us. This is what Maya says. I don't spare anybody. So when this energy is so strong, there's no point in trying to swim across the current. The best thing is to catch hold of the master of Maya. That's the only way. Maya is like the servant. It's like the dog standing at the gate. The master is in the house. You are standing outside the gate. You want to meet the master. You call him, you ring the bell, somehow he's not hearing. The dog is there. You can't open the gate. You can't jump the wall. Right? If the master hears you, when comes out, opens the gate and tells the dog, shh. There's just 1 second, small word, dog keeps quiet. You see? Simple. So this Maya is standing right at the gate. There's no point trying to cross it. It's not possible to cross it. The only way to cross it is to call the person inside. Call the Purushottama, call the Supreme Lord, Master of everything, who is sitting inside. He says, easily I cross you over this material ocean. And as I said yesterday, remembering this constantly, it becomes our duty. Is the endeavor we can put in. What is the endeavor? Every day trying to remember this. That is the endeavor. Because without endeavor, you won't get any result, even in the material world. So for spiritual things, without endeavor, it's not possible. And Krishna says, I can give you everything. One thing I cannot give you, endeavor. That is yours. You may say, I don't have a mood, I'm not inspired, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not... So we are looking externally, where will I get? No, it's not possible. It has to come inside. You can take inspiration from outside, but until and unless it kindles in your heart, it's not possible. How do you kindle that in your heart? How do you light it up in the heart? That is by following the process of Krishna consciousness. And Krishna consciousness, as Prabhupada said, is a science. It doesn't matter who follows it, whoever follows it will get that light. Once getting the light is not enough. Keeping the light going on, that is another endeavor. Until it becomes a big flame, and then you don't have to bother. Once it's a flame, then it keeps burning. So that is the process of Krishna consciousness by which we keep the mentality of sannyasa alive. That is important. The mentality of sannyasa. A brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, man, woman, child, gold, anybody has to maintain this mentality of sannyasa. It's not only for sannyasis in Krishna consciousness. Right? We stop here. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, we often hear in our sampradaya about Babaji. So can you a little bit enlighten about what is Babaji and how it is it superior to sannyasa or what is that?
I'm not a Babaji. You have to ask a Babaji. What is Babaji like? That is being in the Gaudiya Parampara, Babaji Vesh. Like sannyas Vesh, Babaji Vesh is also. All this is the only difference between Babaji and sannyasi. One is a Goshtyanandi, another one is a. So for preaching, it's sannyasis. And if you want to close the door and be aloof, alone, that's Babaji. Right? So let us first become a brahmachari, then we'll think about sannyasis and Babajis. Right? But as Babaji Vesh is there, a part of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Bhaktivedanta Thakur took Babaji, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So Babaji is another initiation where one renounces everything. And preaching is also not given so much importance by Babaji. Babaji is more like a recluse. His He's very recluse. He does not even go out like sannyasis. Sannyasis are like preachers, Parivrajaka preaching finally, Paramahamsa. Babajis are already Paramahamsa. They have gone beyond that stage. That much is enough. Okay, Hare Krishna. Gandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.